right there, and see on the right-hand side.
Oh, here.
It should say Georges III Rex.
Yeah, that's definitely no.
So 1760 to 1820.
Yeah.
I think it's the first edition head.
Yeah, an early head.
Yeah.
Hey! What do you think you hit? The last spade bit, I thought I hit something different.
The curse of Oak Island has finally been broken. Rick and Marty Lagina have hit the motherlode, discovering the centuries-old Templar treasure. In a hidden chamber deep underground, they found not just gold, but proof that the legendary knights made it to North America hundreds of years before Columbus. This find will change history books forever. But the brothers quickly learned that finding the treasure was the easy part. An ancient booby trap system is still active, and a mysterious figure has been spotted on their cameras trying to get to the treasure first. 700-year secret. You know, it's funny when you think about it. After more than 2 centuries of broken dreams and dead ends, the biggest discovery in treasure hunting history happened on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. For Rick and Marty Lagina, this season was different. They had a feeling, a gut instinct backed by cutting-edge technology, that they were closer than ever. Their new ground-penetrating radar had painted a picture of something unbelievable, a man-made void 100 feet below the surface in a section of the island no one had ever seriously excavated before. It was a long shot, but every other lead had gone cold. With heavy machinery in place and the entire team holding their breath, they sent a drill down. The tension was electric. For hours, it was just dirt and rock, and then a sudden change.
Piece of shaped wood.
Really?
Yeah.
The drill broke through into empty space. They had found a chamber. A waterproof camera, their eye in the deep, was carefully lowered into the darkness. At first, the monitor showed nothing but murky, green-tinted water and mud, but as the camera operator panned, a faint glint of light reflected back. Rick leaned in closer, his voice barely a whisper. "Are you guys seeing that?" It wasn't just a glint, it was the unmistakable shimmer of gold. There, in the corner of the stone-walled room, sat a large wooden box. It was ancient, waterlogged, but its corners were reinforced with thick golden plating. This was it, the moment of truth. Getting it out was a massive challenge. The chamber was flooded, and the strange color of the water suggested it might be a chemical booby trap, a final defense from its creators. It took days of careful pumping, with the team working around the clock. They knew the world was about to change. Finally, the day came. A heavy crane was positioned over the borehole, its massive hook lowered into the abyss. Divers attached the hook to the chest, their movements slow and deliberate. As the crane began to lift, everyone fell silent. Water streamed from the box as it rose from the depths, inch by agonizing inch. When it finally reached the surface and was gently placed on the ground, it felt like a scene from a movie.
Is this the first one of these you found?
It is, yeah.
That's probably, to me, one of the most significant things on Lot 5.
Yeah.
The wood was dark and worn, but the gold plating still shone brightly. And right on the lid, carved deep into the wood, was the unmistakable symbol of the Knights Templar, a cross with 2 horizontal bars. Marty slowly pried open the heavy lid. A collective gasp went through the crew. The box was brimming with thick, heavy gold bars, each one stamped with the same Templar seal. Nestled among the bars were other artifacts, the hilt of an ancient sword, a beautifully designed cup, and several smaller seals that might have belonged to high-ranking Templar officials. Rick ran his hand over a gold bar, his eyes filled with emotion. This wasn't just treasure, it was proof. Proof of the legend they had chased for their entire lives. The estimated value, a staggering $150 million. But its historical value was priceless. But they found more than gold. They found a key to an even bigger mystery. The Money Pit's legacy. To understand how massive this discovery is, you have to understand the dark history of Oak Island itself. This tiny 140-acre island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, has been a magnet for mystery for well over 200 years. The story begins way back in 1795. 3 teenage boys, including a young man named Daniel McGinnis, were exploring the island when they found a strange circular depression in the ground. Directly above it, an old oak tree had a branch that was cut, as if a block and tackle had been used to lower something heavy into a pit. Their curiosity got the better of them and they started digging. Get this, Just a few feet down, they hit a layer of solid oak logs. They pulled them up only to find another layer of logs 10 feet deeper. This pattern, a platform of oak every 10 feet, continued as they dug. They realized this wasn't a natural sinkhole. It was an incredibly complex, man-made structure designed to protect whatever was at the bottom. They had found what would become known as the money pit. Word spread and the first real treasure hunt began. But Oak Island wasn't about to give up its secrets easily. Diggers discovered that the pit was protected by a series of ingenious booby traps. Around 90 feet down, they found a flat stone covered in strange symbols. According to legend, the symbols translated to 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. But as they dug deeper, a flood tunnel connected to the nearby ocean was triggered, instantly filling the pit with seawater. Over the next 2 centuries, dozens of expeditions tried and failed. They spent millions of dollars and used the best technology of their time, but the island always won. The money pit seemed bottomless, a puzzle of flood tunnels, hidden chambers, and false leads.
Look. Oh, I see it, mate. That's nice.
It's a history filled with frustration and tragedy. Believe it or not, a chilling prophecy arose from the island's dark past. 7 individuals must perish in the search before the treasure will be found. Before the Lagina brothers' discovery, that number stood at 6. This history of failure is what makes the Templar connection so compelling. Who else, besides the Knights Templar, would have had the resources, the engineering know-how, and the motivation to build such a complex vault in the middle of nowhere? The Templars were a powerful religious and military order founded in the year 1119. They created the world's first international banking system and became fabulously wealthy. But in 1307, the King of France, deep in debt to the order, turned on them. He accused them of heresy and had them arrested all across Europe. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, met a fiery end. But before they were wiped out, their legendary treasure and their entire fleet of ships vanished without a trace. Historians have theorized for decades that the Templars escaped and sailed to safety, possibly to Scotland or even across the Atlantic to North America hundreds of years before Columbus. Finding a Templar cross on a chest full of gold on Oak Island isn't just a clue, it's a smoking gun. It connects a 200-year-old mystery in Canada to a 700-year-old legend from France. A shadow falls. The Lagina brothers didn't just stumble upon the chamber by chance. The island was leaving them a trail of breadcrumbs, clues that were both exciting and deeply unsettling. Weeks before the big find, as their excavation team cleared the new area, they unearthed a large, flat stone buried just a few feet down. Carved onto its surface were bizarre symbols, crosses, triangles, and what looked like a language from an ancient civilization. Experts were baffled, but some noted a striking similarity to symbols used by secretive medieval orders, including the Knights Templar. Then came the metal detector hit. Buried nearby, they found a small circular piece of lead. When they cleaned off the dirt, it was revealed to be an old seal, the kind used to stamp wax on important documents. The seal bore the same mysterious crossmark, surrounded by letters in what looked like Old Latin. But the most shocking clue was yet to come. Deep in the dig site, preserved in a layer of clay, was a small rolled-up piece of parchment. It was incredibly fragile, and they had to send it to a special lab to be carefully unrolled and analyzed. As technicians treated the document, faded lines began to appear. It was a hand-drawn map.
What's going on? What's that? Yo.
It showed a section of Oak Island, and right in the middle was an X marking the location of a secret underground chamber. Rick looked at the map and realized they were digging in the exact spot. It was as if someone from the past was guiding their hand. With the map confirming their location, they pushed forward, eventually breaking into the chamber with the golden chest. However, here's where things get really crazy. The night they found the chamber and saw the gold on camera for the first time, something happened. Around 2 in the morning, motion sensor alarms near the dig site went off. Security guards rushed to check the live CCTV feeds. On the screen, a blurry, human-like figure was seen moving through the trees at the edge of the excavation site. The figure didn't seem like a lost tourist. Its movements were slow, deliberate. It moved directly toward the command tent where the maps and data were stored before melting back into the darkness. When Rick and Marty saw the footage, a chill ran down their spines. This wasn't some animal. Whoever it was, they knew exactly where to look. Security was immediately doubled. High barricades were put up and more cameras were installed. It was clear they weren't just in a race against time, they were in a race against an unknown rival. The next day, when they sent the camera back down into the flooded chamber, they noticed something disturbing. The mud around the treasure chest looked slightly disturbed, as if someone had tried to reach it overnight. The realization was terrifying. They weren't the only ones searching for the Templar treasure, and their unseen competitor was already on the island watching their every move, the Vatican's interest and consequences. The moment the footage of the golden chest being opened hit the airwaves, the world went into a frenzy. It was like a global shockwave. Local news channels broke the story, and within an hour it was the top headline on major networks around the world. Templar treasure found in Canada was plastered everywhere. Social media exploded. Oak Island was the #1 trending topic on Twitter for 72 hours straight. People were sharing screenshots, creating memes, and posting their own wild theories on Reddit forums. It's one thing to hear about a legend, but it's another thing entirely to see a 700-year-old treasure chest being opened on live television. And that's when the big players got involved. Almost immediately, the government of Nova Scotia issued an official notice declaring the entire island a protected heritage site. This meant every single artifact found would be subject to strict laws. At the same time, whispers started that some of the world's wealthiest private collectors were secretly reaching out to the Lagina team, offering astronomical sums for even a single gold bar. But the most stunning development came from overseas. News outlets reported that high-level representatives from the Vatican were preparing to travel to Nova Scotia. Why? Because if this truly is the lost treasure of the Knights Templar, then the Catholic Church, which the Templars once served, might have a historical claim to it. Suddenly, Oak Island transformed from a remote search site into a place of intense international interest. The airspace above was buzzing with news helicopters, and Coast Guard boats patrolled the surrounding waters. This discovery also ignited a firestorm of debate among historians and archaeologists. Some hailed it as the greatest discovery of the 21st century, solid proof that the Templars reached the New World. They pointed to the seals and the style of the artifacts as undeniable evidence. Others, however, urged caution. They argued that without proper carbon dating and scientific analysis, it's too early to confirm the treasure's origin. Could it have been hidden by someone else much later, maybe even pirates, who simply used Templar symbols to create a more fearsome legend? This is the point where you have to wonder, right? If this is all real, how does a secret like this stay hidden for so long, only to be found now? Was it just new technology, or did something else change? It almost makes you question if we're seeing the whole picture. For Rick and Marty, the pressure is now immense. The Lagina brothers found the gold, but they may have unearthed a secret the world wasn't ready for. Was this treasure meant to be found, or have they awakened something that should have stayed buried? Like and subscribe for more, because the Oak Island story is far from over.